Lesson 2 on page 121 for chapter 2 is solving two-step equations, and we were better at solving two-step equations than some of the other ones, so these hopefully will be pretty easy. But let's start the guided practice. So on number 1, we have two sides of our equal sign or equation, 6x plus 5 and 29, and we want all of the variables on one side and the constants on the other. So here we see there's a 6x, a number, and a number. So what we want is to keep the 6x, but we want the 5 to go over with the 29. Because it's a positive 5, we're going to do the inverse or opposite, and we're going to subtract 5 because we want to move the whole thing. So we get 0 for 5 minus 5. We still have a 6x, and that's going to be equal to 29 minus 5, which is 24. Check your work in the calculator if you're not very good at adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. Okay, and at this step, we have the variables over here. There's an x, and the constants over here. So when we get to variables on one side and constants on the other, we would divide or multiply. This one is already multiplication. This says 6 multiplied by x, and so we would need to divide to undo or to get rid of the 6. All right, so the 6's will cancel out, and we're left with x equals 24 divided by 6 equals 4 for our final answer. All right, number 2 is very similar, except the order is a little bit different. This is a negative 5y, a positive 3, and a negative 37. Okay, so again, we want the variables on one side and the constants on the opposite side. So I'm going to move the 3 so that it's with the negative 37. It's a positive 3, so I would have to subtract 3 from both sides. This is equal to 0. I bring down my negative 5y. Negative 37 minus 3 gives me negative 40. Okay, here again, please put this in your calculator because you have trouble with signed numbers. So this is a negative 37, and we get more negative by 3. So negative 40 is our answer here. At this point, we have variables and constants, so we can divide. And we're dividing by the number multiplied by the y. The number is a negative 5, and so that's what we divide by. We get y equals negative 40 divided by negative 5 is 8. Positive 8. Again, please use your calculator. This is division. Okay, negative divided by negative gives me a positive. So positive y equals 8 is my final answer. Okay, and then on number 3, here's my variable, my constant, and my other constant. So I want this constant with the other one. It's negative right now, so I would have to add and add. I get 2/3 x equals 12. And remember from the first section, when we have a fraction being multiplied, we multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply by 3/2, and we're left with x equals 12 divided by 2 is 6, multiplied by 3 is 18. Okay, I can also check my answers by plugging the answer back into the original equation. So I see that it should be 6 multiplied by x plus 5 should equal 29. So if I take 6 multiplied by 4, I get 24 plus 5, that does equal 29. And so I know my answer is correct. So if it's multiple choice, you can take the answer choices and put them in for x to see which one gives you the correct answer. If it's not multiple choice though, then you need to show all of your work and make sure that you can get partial credit even if you get it a little bit wrong. Okay, and then this last one says, if we just look at the very end, it says solve the equation to determine how many people went to the movies. And that's all we need to do. We need to take this equation, 63 equals 6.50p plus 17.50, and solve. Okay, so I have the variable is here, constant, constant. This one needs to go with the other one. It's positive, so I would subtract 17.50 minus 17.50. And when I put that in my calculator, 63 minus 17.50, I get 45.50 equals 6.50p. Okay, now I have all my variables here and my constants here, so I'm going to do the same thing I did up at the top and divide by 6.5. So I get p equals 45.5 divided by 6.5 gives me 7. Okay, and this is how many people went to the movies, so I would write 7 people. 7 people went to the movies. Okay, and that's it for this section.